Hey, 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 hey! Welcome to Forex.Today. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. So please always stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Please open an account. Start with a demo, get to know us, test out our execution, test out our customer service, fall in love. In a way, TradersWay is investing into you by making these webinars available. They want you to succeed, so we're putting the time and the effort into being here for you every day. Monday through Thursday here at Forex.Today and every Friday at FX Street, where I'm also Forex Speaker of the Year. So again, if you're benefiting from hanging out with me every single day, show some respect, bro. Open up an account at TradersWay.com. Yep, so the markets are moving. Things are happening, which is good. So one of the things that we talked about yesterday is being patient and disciplined to buy at the price that you would like, not necessarily the one you're at. And one of them was waiting and waiting for the yen pairs to fall. Wanting to buy them was one thing, but not at the elevated prices that they were at. What happened about an hour after, I don't know, maybe 3 hours after our webinar yesterday? All the yen pairs fell. Which means that if you were lazy and undisciplined and you had bought high, you got slaughtered. It's not my problem. Adam says we had the same limit order on the Aussie. Well, you know, really, that's what you do want to see, right? So he's talking about this. Now, I never caught it, but it should be logical where your entries are. And at some point in your career, most of your trades will be this. In fact, all your trades will be this. All your trades need to be predictable. They need to be where buyers and sellers are predictably located. Right? We're not trying to outsmart the market. You're trying to be where the market is. And a losing trader buys high, and the reason they lose is there's no buyers up there, there's sellers up there. So anyway, so you don't have to be a rocket surgeon to see, this used to be resistance, so it might be support. It's near the psychological level of 78.00. The one thing we have learned, so let's say this is it's just above, I believe. I don't know what the actual price is. It should be just above because I want to I have to account for the spread and stuff. But here's the other interesting thing. This is the psych level, and this is where all the stops are. All right, this is the 00 to 80 area where stops are going to be located. But where are the buyers? And that would be the 00 to 20 area, which is more like this. And so one thing that we can potentially learn from this is the market was a little more bullish than I was. I guess the 00 is probably closer to here. Okay. The market was a little more bullish than I was. And now think of these guys that are trying to buy. They want to buy somewhere between 20 and 00, and their stops are going to be somewhere from 00 to 80. If you're going to play the 80-20. Right? Because bulls had the same plan that I did. And they just simply wanted to buy the dip. They were waiting for the dip. And then we finally got the dip. So this is me yesterday saying only a fool would buy now. Okay? And sure enough, just a few hours later, we were significantly lower, I mean, it went from 78.80 to 77.80. It dropped like 100 pips, roughly, right? And so this was the general plan for all bulls. All bulls would agree on that. What we disagreed is, my entry was closer to the role reversal, a little closer to the psych level. I wanted to buy essentially at 0.0, and they were buying at 20 and 10. Oops. Pretty close though, but not close enough. I think I missed it by 8 pips. In fact, it looks like I'm really closer to 10. That's because of the spread, right? So let's say the spread can be, I don't know, depending on time of day and all that, 4, let's say. So, I'm really just a few pips before 0.0, and that's too conservative. Miles said, so they anticipated the entry. Well, no, they just simply bought near the psych level, whatever that meant to them. The thing is, they were buying, right? We talked about up in here that I wanted to buy, but not at that price, and that it was a very difficult thing emotionally to just sit and wait, but that was my job as a professional foreign exchange trader. Even if I'm emotionally eager to buy or to sell, it doesn't matter, right? I need to wait for my lines. I need to wait for the proper entry, and well, I did. This one I missed, but I got some others. Miles says, should I remove it or leave it? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Doesn't that also mean the bears? Well, we don't know if there were bears. It fell, but that doesn't mean there's bears. Right? All we did was drop to the 55. So I think if you want to see a bear on this, you're going to need a reversal pattern. Okay? But don't get caught in the idea that all red candles are bears. It's not necessarily true. It's just bulls getting out. And then they're like, oh, snap, I want back in. Okay. Yeah, I don't have to leave that there, but so far, that's still a supportive area, right? So we'll see. Yeah, if it breaks lower than that, I'm gonna have some serious doubts. But give it some wiggle room. So anyways, interesting stuff, right? Interesting day. Yesterday's message was be patient, wait for your pullbacks if you're a bull, buy at support if you're a bull. Then the market collapsed back to support, and I bought it. or tried to buy it or whatever, right? Whatnot. Better than range trading, huh? It's a mess. Total mess, huh? Well, at least it's going up, but even that doesn't look that great. What are you going to do? Well, buy it, support, sell it, resistance, jam your stop. So we got an ADP today, and people are going to use that as a way to try to measure non-farm payrolls coming up. It's hard to even get this on the chart with all that craziness. So if you get a crazy move, oops, that's not what I want to do. If you got a crazy move to the upside, if you get a crazy bullish engulfing candle, what do? Do you buy like Fibonacci retracements? Oops. Was that too crazy? Was that too radical? Who the hell was buying this at the 382 and 50%? Stupid euro. Doesn't mean I like it. Stupid euro. Yeah, not if you're a euro bear, which makes sense to me. That's fine. You know, sometimes you wake up a trader, not an investor. But you're certainly right. So, you know, if ADP goes my way, great. If not, I better get out of that crap, right? And look, they're not long-term investments either, right? We're just going to top of the range. Top of the range to you, laddie. Whatever. So, right, whatever. So how about our peso? How did that actually work out? Remember, this was a massive uptrend, and yet we were preparing to sell it before it turned down. Then it double topped for us and then really went down. Then we said, it'd come up, it'd make a 50% retracement, and then it would fall, right? 50% predicts a 1382. Yeah, we missed it by a little bit. Look at that. Look how close it is. Yeah, we missed it a little bit. And I was hoping it'd move a little more down, but it could. It doesn't look like it's going up, right? But isn't that interesting? And look at the price section. Lower low, lower high, roll reversal, lower low, right? Lower high should come down. But, right? Ultimately, though, I don't really want to be holding peso. Yeah, Miles says, euro going nowhere lately. Yeah, so you might as well play the range and the price action, right? When you get a bullish engulfing candle the size of an entire day's range, sometimes you just have to play it, even if you don't like it. Right? The ball's in your hand. There's less than 1 second. Even if your shot's not good, you kind of have to take it, right? Yeah. Top of the firing range. Yeah, but anyways, this is interesting though, right? I mean, I love it. It's so remarkable how these patterns arrive, where we can talk a couple of weeks like, hey, you know, maybe in 3 days we'll start buying the Mexican peso. And then sure enough, 3 days later it starts getting strong. But, you know, that's not fundamental analysis really, right? That's not technical analysis either.
Hour to the release of ADP employment.
Just alpha.
In U.S. Taking a look at markets overseas in both Asia and Europe, we did get a chance to see markets react to the ECB story that broke yesterday after the European close, that they are potentially looking at various scenarios surrounding taper of quantitative easing. And currently the mandate is only through March of 2017. And we did see that hit overall assets yesterday in U.S. trading session, and it's continued with lower equity markets across Europe as well as lower bond markets. The performance a little bit better in Asia, the Nikkei finishing up about 0.5%. Australian stocks were down 0.5%. We generally saw some strong data out of Asia. Again, the Chinese markets were closed for the Golden Week holiday. Australian retail sales beat at a 5-month high. Hong Kong composite PMI at an 18-month high. Singapore at a 19-month high. And oil prices have been moving higher towards the $50 mark in WTI after API petroleum inventory showed the largest drawdown since early September last night in the data. We will get the DOE data later today. U.S. equity futures are pointing now to a higher open. We've seen markets move higher in recent trade, breaking out to new highs, 21.4825 in the S&P, meeting 48.65.5 in the NASDAQ 100 futures. U.S. Treasury prices largely unchanged, consolidating the move lower we saw yesterday, and a back up in rates. The U.S. 10-year yield holding around 1.68%. And the 2-10-year spread at 86 basis points was wider by about 3 basis points yesterday, so consolidating that move as well. In terms of currency markets, much of the focus continues to be on the British pound. Cable hit another fresh 30-plus year low, traded with a 126 handle, got to as low as 126.84, currently 127.22. We're monitoring comments coming from Prime Minister May, who's addressing her political party's Tory meeting. Hasn't seemed to be anything too market moving to this point. Again, the pressure on the British pound continues. The euro 112.16, up 13 pips, and the dollar yen 103.08. We've seen some stabilization in precious metals. Gold, after dropping through $1,300 yesterday, seems to have found a bottom around 1270. The low was 1268.60, currently 1275, up about 0.5%. Silver futures also stabilizing slightly, up 0.75% at $17.90 after dropping 5% yesterday. Looking out ahead of us here at the top of the hour, we're looking for earnings from Monsanto, M-O-N, the global agriculture name, in a pending merger agreement with Bayer AG of Germany, will report results. Also, as we noted, in a little more than a half hour, about 40 minutes time, we're going to get the ADP employment report for the month of September, looking for 165,000 jobs. Last month, unrevised numbers was at 177,000.
This guy's so funny, he just ends. He always does that. I always feel like he needs to, I don't know, change his tone or something. And that's the end of the data. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, so we got Christine Lagarde is in New York, and she's going to, or at least in the U.S., I think she's going to visit New York, and she's going to give a whole bunch of speeches and all that kind of stuff. Now, why? Let me give you a hint. Christine Lagarde, before her current post, was the finance minister of France. Now she runs the International Monetary Fund. Why is she suddenly in the United States of America, ready to be on every talk show and radio program related to finance? Jawbone? Let's have a little more constructive feedback, or constructive ideas. La 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 la. How about the World Economic Outlook? La 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 la. What? Did that come out like just now? I know, come on guys. So this is one organization I've asked you to pay attention to, where they have PhDs, many, many PhDs, working night and day doing very complicated math to tell you how the economy is doing globally. And they produce it for free. And it's out. Okay. How does that make you feel? Did you get caught with your pants down? So you need to know this stuff. Doesn't matter if they're right. There's no right or wrong. There's only equilibrium, right? But if you're going to be a professional foreign exchange trader, you should know this. You should be able to comment about it with your clients. Yeah, well, I'm bullish or bearish, whatever it is, on this currency pair because of many things. In fact, so is the IMF. In fact, in their recent World Economic Outlook, the IMF stated blah, 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 blah. Okay? Also, whether there's no right or wrong, the market just simply trades it. They may see something good, they may see something bad, and they need to adjust their billions of dollars at risk. Okay? So it's one of these things I'm like, if you're a professional, you just simply do these things. Okay? So their 2016 annual meeting, the main part of the meeting is actually today. Oh, snap, really? So at 8:45, they're going to give their global financial stability report. Cool, right? La 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 la. Get some World Bank guys. From billions to trillions. Yeah, like that. Look at their meetings. What a day. It looks like a good day. No, this is a couple of days ago. So, yeah, it looks like a good day, huh? Anyways. So is anyone going to like get in on that? Get smart? You want to be smart money, right? Like, let me ask you, if you were in charge of $1 billion in client money, would you be expected to be updated on that? I mean, you might even fly out to Washington, D.C. and like attend some of the meetings, right? Your client calls you and your secretary says, "Oh, I'm sorry, he's in Washington, D.C. meeting with Christine Lagarde. Can I take a message?" Well, it is a report, James. So for 6 months they work on a report and they give their outlook, their forecasts, right? And then 6 months later they update them based on information. And they do a lot of, they do video sort of Q&As and panel discussions, and you can download their research, but, just read the executive summary, right? Right? But like, what's Asia going to be like? Like, how's Asia doing, right? Or how's Europe doing if you're involved in those ones? For example, the IMF in their WEO, the World Economic Outlook, they maintain their 2016 growth forecast at 3.1%. And they maintain their 2017 global growth forecast at 3.4%. Okay? The World Bank, not the IMF, the World Bank sees China growth slowing gradually to 6.3% in 2018. But the World Bank ain't no IMF. And of course, some people will tell you that these are all political institutions run by the American imperialist pig dogs that are just ruining life for poor people around the world. And then, right, and then you go to a poor country and like, hey man, I want to PayPal you some money. Oh, we don't have PayPal. Like, that's why you're poor. It's difficult to do business. So really, what we need are, if I'm going to get on my high horse, what we need globally is open markets and policies, procedures, and infrastructure, and even cultural norms that make working together easy. To share and distribute resources and wealth easily, without scumbag dictators, without bleeding heart political institutions that that just grasp onto power so that they can stay alive. What we need is just entrepreneurialism and an environment in which entrepreneurialism flourishes. So I just caught up with a college kid I mentored maybe 8 or 9 years ago at Georgia Tech. Spent a lot of time with him. And he got his engineering degree, and then he went on to a leadership position, worked internationally for a while, has come back, got his master's degree in engineering, not from Georgia Tech, which is, by the way, the number two engineering school in the United States. So he went and got his master's degree from MIT, the #1 engineering school in the world. And now he's gone on to build small solar-powered irrigation pumps for micro farmers in third world countries. That's like entrepreneurialism, that the kind that we need to make the world better, to help people feed themselves and stuff. But I'll bet you anything politics gets in the way. I didn't tell you his name. I don't have permission to tell you his name. But, he's just a quote-unquote kid that I mentored 10 years ago. Now he's a man changing the world. But, we need a system globally that makes that easy. But I bet you anything, politics gets in the way and ruins it. But it's a good idea based on solid technology. It would make a real difference. I'm completely skeptical. Not in him, not in the technology, not in the need, but if you can't PayPal somebody in Africa, how about go in and change the entire infrastructure and culture? And like, yeah, that's going to be a long road if you can't even transfer money easily from one person to another. You understand where I'm getting? That's what that's what I wish we could, and I bet you if you go to like a lot of IMF meetings and they talk about that, like the challenges of, financial infrastructure and legal infrastructure and all that kind of stuff, that's the stuff that slows it all down, right? Right? We need, if you're an interesting person with a good idea, it shouldn't matter where on earth you are, what religion you pray to or not, what color your skin is. It shouldn't matter. If I think your idea is great, I should be able to easily, like, snapping my fingers, transfer some wealth to you, right? Now I have an investment. You put it to productive use, change the world, and I should receive some sort of return as well because I put my money at risk. And all of that should be super easy. My excess capital is your working capital, and together we change the world, right? But if even that simple thing, here, take this money and run, if that's difficult, oh my God. Imagine the real problems. Imagine how difficult they are, right? So, whatever. So, IMF, very interesting stuff. Christine Lagarde going around, and it's not job owning. No, they have real analysis. They're going to talk about it. The IMF is also very interesting because they do their math different than everybody else, and that's not a good nor a bad thing. But what they do is they take backward-looking data, stuff that has happened, hard data, and then they also do like fuzzy logic, future, behavioral type math, and try to combine them together to get these outlooks. And it's a different process than other political institutions. So whether you like it or not, it's still very interesting. And there are lots of PhDs. And I've taken some classes from the IMF, and it's very, very, very international. Right, so it's hard to believe that it's an American imperialist pig dog political institution designed to manipulate the impoverished world. I'm like, really? Because when I take classes from them, they seem like really smart French people. Actually, some of the classes I took, one was from, I don't know where she was from, but Asia somewhere. And another guy was Africa somewhere. And another guy was Hispanic. And another guy was definitely French because he had this outrageous French accent, right? But the classes were incredibly interesting. So anyways, they do the math, they pump out their data, and you can read it and learn from it, use it, certainly leverage it. No one's going to laugh at you because you downloaded and read the latest World Economic Outlook from the IMF, but you could completely screw up your trading because you don't know what's going on. So you might as well just read it, right? All right, so going back to this, last week we had gold double topping, coming down to a bottom of a range, and then it broke out. Yay! It's so nice being right. Cool, huh? Awesome. It's so good being right. It feels so awesome. Miles, yeah, French imperialist big dogs. Yeah. Swissy just caught, right? Doesn't look like a good. So I believe our plan here was to let it break up or let it break down or just stay out of it, right? Life is great, life is grand, life is good. Life is beautiful, ooh, you gotta give it what you got, gonna get what you give. Bum 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 ba bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I want to go here. Do you really want to? Oh yeah, did you buy the Italian 50-year bond? Wow. What the hell does that mean? Isn't it crazy? So, so here's our plan last week. We had it coming up to resistance, dropping into the role reversal, so to speak, and then breaking out to the upside. Oh, it's very similar to what, right? Lovely, huh? Lovely, with your smile so warm and your teeth so green. Great. Look at look at how it even does a channel breakout for us. Yeah, you got to. In this case, guys, if your weeklies have blown out, switch over to your monthly. It's just that something very dramatic or fundamental has changed. Okay, and it's not that your weeklies are wrong. It's just something very unusual and extreme is happening, and really you just need bigger lines or use like weekly R3, but I don't have that.
September, we're looking for 165,000 jobs. That would be down from the 177 print in August. We'll get you the vision as soon as possible and then run through some of the components. Recall back in August, small business growth was at 63,000, large businesses were 70,000. Goods producing were minus 6,000, construction was at minus 2,000, manufacturing was flat.
Just remember, Miles, with the high oil prices, that gives us inflation, which means the Fed has to raise interest rates. So be careful. This is not like last week, the week before, the week before, the week before. We have something new fundamentally, right? Just imagine every country in the world desperate for cash. So if you produce commodities of any kind, you're just going to dump everything on the market, just like oil. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of demand for dollars.
45 seconds to release of the September ADP employment report, looking for 165,000. We'll get you the revision as soon as possible. August was at 177,000. 10 seconds. 154 below the 165 expected. Again, 154 coming in a little bit below expectations. The prior was revised to 175 from 177, so the prior revised down slightly. The small business growth this month seen at 34,000, medium plus 56, and large plus 64, goods and servicing plus 3,000, construction at plus 11,000, while manufacturing saw a decline of 6,000. Mark Zandi saying the current record of consecutive monthly job gains continued. Job openings at all-time highs and layoffs near all-time lows. The job market remains in full swing, noting that job growth has moderated in recent months, but only because the economy is finally returning to full employment. And we did see a decline in manufacturing for the second straight month.
So we got a 382. Very nice. Buck 54, huh? No significant revision from last month. There was they did revise it down, but only by 2K. We got some kitty CAD news coming up. Remember, Friday is another heavy CAD day. Also today's oil inventories, so another day to trade the kitty CAD. For show. I don't know if you sold the CAD off of its monthly central or not. That would benefit me, hey, Miles? Yeah. All right. Interesting thing. This is all dollar weakness. Yens are trying to move up, except the European currencies, obviously. But so we'll see. So, did you guys all understand the news, Scalp? So you should be able to jam your stop in the next 3 minutes. If not, I'd worry about the fact that we haven't broken through 103. So, I don't know. Make a decision, bro. But it came down, made a 382 and down. You might have wanted it to come up a little bit more. Well, then you missed it. It's just one of those things. Like, you don't really have time, really. But I see weakness in the yens, or potential weakness in the yen versus everything else. So even though USD yen's coming down, it looks like it's more dollar weakness. So this isn't falling; it's trying to rise. One of the pairs I did catch was that one. And I was hoping it would get above this, but no, maybe not. Maybe it's wimping out. All right, fine. So we have the psych level of 74 going on here, right? So maybe delayed reaction there. It's very plausible. Life is great, life is grand, life is good. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Oh. Yeah, well, that part's disappeared. Let's go to... watch this for a while. Actually, Euro, USD yen falling, but Euro falling farther. Euro's even weaker. This is unfortunate for me, right? So all my good luck has gone away. Well, do you feel like breaking 50? I don't. Do you? So my people are telling me it's going to stop just short of 50 at $49.77. USDN making its move. Bum, 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 bum. We're almost there, huh? Okay. So now you got to take like a 5-minute mover, right? There will be a retracement. So where do you think the retracement's going to be? Maybe in there. So what you do in that case is they also want a 382 to 618 Fibonacci retracement. I don't know. Do you want to play it there? Okay. And they'll want to come back and then drop. Cool. Nice though, huh? The interesting thing is that's how we'll play non-farm payrolls. Miles says, don't you use pivot as levels? Only fibs. Not sure if I understand what you're asking. But a high volatility event driven strategy in the beginning is simply picking direction based on the market's reaction to the new information and catching a 1-minute Fibonacci retracement. Now, if there's a cycle level and a pivot point and all that kind of stuff in there too, then all the better. But and I'm assuming you've attended dozens of my NFPs, right? So you know how to trade the news. So you get the bearish engulfing candle in reaction to the news, and you sell a Fibonacci retracement. The bearish engulfing candle just simply makes you bearish, right? And the fib gives you your entry. And it's, how many years have I been doing non-farm payrolls now? What is it, 10 and a half years? Right? So every single one of them, oops, I guess it's yellow, I can't quite see that. Every single one of them for 10 and a half years is to catch the pullback to the sweet spot, right? Okay. Yeah, of course. Sure, Miles. Yeah, that's what pivot points are, support and resistance in the market. Okay. But, okay, what I'm trying to say is it might bounce here. Okay? So if you're still going to do it on a 5-minute chart, you need to do this. And you're going to do something similar. you're going to want to sell somewhere between the 382 and 618 Fibonacci retracement, right? So I would sit here and say it's going to turn green. I was looking at DM3 as support instead of. Well, no, no. I don't know if I knew what you're talking about. I'm not using fibs for support at all. Right? If the reaction to the news is bearish, I'm only using fibs as resistance. Okay? The support, I am using pivots. Okay? And how did I know it was going to turn green here? Not because of fibs, but because of pivots. Right? No, but are you saying support instead of resistance? Yeah. Well, but so you're using your fibs for an extension as well? Yeah, they're soft targets, I guess. Yeah. To me, it's just a scalp. Jam your stop, trade it to support. If you want to use your fib extensions, fine. But remember, that's subjective. Nobody but you have that exact extension, right? But we can all agree that these are pivot points. Okay. So get ready. Someone may want to sell this somewhere between the 382 and 618 Fibonacci retracement. Okay, this is the fractal geometry. So the move that happened on the 1 minute was too fast. It's just too fast for the 5 minute guys. But they want to do the same thing too, right? So it's coming back and giving them a second chance. Because the 1 minute's too fast, right? So yeah, so now it's going to be their turn. And then after that move, you may have to rinse and repeat it one more time on the 15 minute. It's just everyone wants their shot, right? Oh! But isn't it nice to be able to say, oh, there's the reaction. It's going to turn red. Turns red for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles in a row. And then we're like, oh, it's going to turn green here. Boom, turns green. Isn't that nice? Let's see what else is going on. Aussie's probably an up with the weak U.S. dollar. Maybe we should do that. So we got the pivot, right? Let me load that. All right, this is going to confuse you. I just want to say the central. You see that, the monthly central pivot? So you need to make a decision. Clearly you can see I haven't made a decision. But don't do as I do as I say, right? So a lot of these I got to get punished for because, I bought at psych levels on pullbacks, but they're very dangerous because, I try to catch these, I don't know. clearly these pivots are in my way, and I'm going to have to deal with them. Yeah, that's all. All right, there's the CAD news. CAD news is negative 2 billion. Suppose that's bad for Canada, right? I don't have the individual data yet. Pretty decent number for the United States, I'd say. Remember yesterday the prediction was 39 billion. I said the bigger the deficit, the better. Well, it came out instead of 39, it came out closer to 41. Hey, a couple of billion counts, right? A couple of billion helps. So I guess the Canadian news looks good. They were expecting worse. It's one of these things where bad numbers are good because it could have been worse. I still don't have the actual data headline. Okay, I got U.S. headline or data. Exports in the United States, 1.88 billion, 188 billion, which is a little bit better. So exports picked up in the United States. Imports picked up even more. So I'd say that's good data twice. We exported more and we imported even more. Well, exports going up, that's a good thing because now that means businesses are manufacturing things and sending them to foreigners. But at the same time, we're so filthy stinking rich, we're buying stuff from foreigners. So that's a double dip thumbs up, I think. Oh, why do you love me for that? What? Tell me why you love me. I'm an only child. I can listen to that all day. Why do you love me? I'll give you more of that. That's all I'm saying. But you got to tell me. You might have typed that 5 minutes ago. Life is great. Life is grand. Oh, right on, Miles. I still don't have trade balance data for Canada. Come on, Trade the News. I got the headline, but I want to know how it was calculated. Who cares about the headline? Sitting here waiting. Well, anyways, we know the U.S., I suppose. It seems like Canada's liking the data, though, huh? Their data apparently. So I don't know if it's because exports were better than expected, even though imports went up. I mean, I don't know how you calculate to get the headline, but I'm always wary of bad news being good news because it could have been worse news because that's a double negative. And I just don't think double. Yeah, no, I know the headline, Adam. How was it calculated? So I don't have that data. So, like for example, the U.S. trade balance was negative 40.7 billion versus negative 39.2 billion expected, right? So okay, so it's 40.7. But I can tell you how they got that. Imports were 228.6 billion minus the exports, right? Imports minus exports is 187.9 to get you your 40.7 billion. So I need to know that, not just the headline, but the headline to me is almost meaningless. Right? Yeah. No. Don't be sorry. But like, for example, everybody knows this, right? Hang on, let me get my drawing tool. Let's go basic for us. GDP measures the production of an economy. And GDP is equal to government spending plus business investment, right? Plus consumer consumption, right? Exports minus, plus exports minus imports. So the reason I'm like, I don't care about the trade deficit. Oh, finally got the Canadian numbers. I don't care about the trade deficit. I need to know the numbers to plug in here. So in this process, now I can put in 188 billion minus 229 billion. Okay. I can do the equation now, right? See what I mean? That's why it's important. So, the exports, is that a good number? Is that a bad number? Well, the previous month we were only doing 186. So, right, month over month, we exported $2 billion more than the previous month. I'd say that's good news. And is 229 billion good? Right? Well, the previous month it was 226 billion. So we sold foreigners $2 billion worth of stuff, but we bought from foreigners $3 billion worth of stuff. So the headline number people will tell you is bad. Oh, negative 40.7 billion. That's bad. We have a trade deficit. Like, trade deficit? We sold 186 billion last month. Now we're selling 188 billion. Remember, we're importing this stuff because we have a strong dollar. Right? So we bought some stuff from Mexico because they made it cheaper than we could possibly make it ourselves. So what? Right? Now, if the exports were like zero, then we'd say, well, where's the money coming from? Uh-oh. Okay? That could be a problem. But, if we can borrow money, right? If we can borrow money for 1%, why not buy some stuff and put it on credit? I mean, I don't know. But, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. If we were poor, we'd make our own stuff. If we were poor, we'd close our own borders. But we're a hegemonic power, baby. $112 coming up for euro dollar. This one's Oscar Mike. Okay, so let's put it all in perspective. Okay, You see on the 1 minute chart, we get the positive reaction, 382 Fibonacci retracement now heading up. Okay. Let me kind of zoom in here a little bit. And you could have done it this way as well, or you could have measured the 5 minute candle. I mean, it's all subjective, right? Either way, no matter how you measure it, you had an opportunity to trade the direction of the news, the reaction to the news. All pretty straightforward news trading. S&P 500 is moving up. Let's do a check. Let's do a market check. 1 second. Okay, S&P 500 up 0.26%. 10-year T-note 1.68. Just a crazy. Oil's going to try to get through 50. I think it's going to be 49.77. VIX sitting at 1360, down 3.51%. Gold currently up 0.5%. The Central Bank of South Africa just said the rand is currently undervalued. Really? What do you guys think? Is the South African rand undervalued? Well, the central bank just said it's undervalued. They also feel the inflation outlook is evenly balanced. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? All right, so it's undervalued, but gold is falling precipitously. I know it's only fallen, $100, but that's going to bring the South African rand down. So yeah, I don't know. I guess the Central Bank of South Africa believes, I guess gold is going to rise. All right. Well, so I guess what they're doing is some hardcore technical analysis. So if gold rises, the South African rand tends to rise with it, right? That's probably an oversimplification, but I doubt too many people would argue. Bong says I should be the finance minister of South Africa. I'd love it. It's like a summer camp, right? Come in for a week or two, play some games, have some cool food, and then leave. That's the best part of being the finance minister of South Africa. You only have to stick around like 2 weeks. Pippin says China results affect South Africa. Yeah, of course, all commodity producing economies. Right. So, example, if I can't PayPal someone in South Africa because it's a challenge, you got to be in the right place at the right time, and maybe it'll work. Well, then clearly, clearly South Africa is not like the financial center of the world. It's not like the London of Africa or something, right? So they must do something well, and I guess that's dig stuff out of the ground. Right? Because I've walked the streets of Johannesburg. It's a beautiful city. Modern buildings, right? Beautiful transportation infrastructure. It's a beautiful modern city. But you can't PayPal somebody? Like, what the? Oh, this is going to be a problem. It's all these little annoying complications to simple business transactions that holds a country back, I think. Like, if I was doing business with Daniel, I've said, is the most interesting person alive on many occasions. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, where are you now? Oh, I'm in Singapore. Where are you now? I'm in Hong Kong. Where are you now? Oh, I'm in China. He can do business wherever he is. He can do business. It's just not even a problem. And that's how it should be, right? Everywhere. So, like, someone's got to take over South Africa and fix things because it's got the potential. Yeah, but you should have that type of freedom, though, right? Like, what? They don't have the computer processing power to accept a PayPal payment, right? All right, so I'm just looking around the world. Not a lot has changed since the news results. 112 is tickled on the euro dollar. Gold didn't go up, so maybe that 1 hour 21 is going to hold it down. USD holding flat with the Chinese yuan, but looks like China's going to. When you look at like a 1 hour or 4 hour yuan chart, it looks like they're going to continue to weaken it. Fine. S&P 500. You know, it's funny. It's been acting bullishly, but it's right in a bearish zone. Like if you were going to sell the S&P 500, you'd probably do it like right now. So maybe we should look at that, even though you're probably not trading it. So that's USD yen. Yeah, all right, so this will work. All right, so if you're looking at it from this point of view, you're like, oh yeah, up, down, up. Okay. If you're looking at it this point of view, you're like, oh, snap. Okay. Respected support through support, back to the roll reversal. And we're in that, drop zone, aren't we? Okay. And, Stokes ain't saying no, right? Oh my God, look at the time. I didn't know it was so late. Holy smokes. Yeah, too many restrictions from the SARB. But again, what the whole entire world needs, not just South Africa, right? The whole entire world needs to be able to play well together. Business transactions should be easy. So that we can find someone that has a better way, a better product, a good idea, and the world should A, be able to find that person fairly easily, and B, put their excess capital to work. So, so the big argument here is, how do you increase GDP? We don't really care about inflation. You're not really trying to create inflation, because then you just have to fight inflation down the road. What you're trying to create is growth. Your money sitting in a bank or your money sitting on your mattress is not doing anything, and it's not producing growth. So what produces growth? You can boil it all the way down to the electrical chemical energy inside the brain of an entrepreneur. Okay, not Keynesian printing money for the sake of printing money, but a Hayekian, let all the bad banks fail. Instead of bailing out the banks, just bail out the depositors. Then they'll move their money to a bank that didn't take high risks. And then they'll have that excess capital again, and then that should get invested into an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur creates growth. Do you understand? No, it's not me. I'm just ripping off Hayek. He wrote that in 1931. It's not even a new idea. 1931! I was like 11 when that came out. Amazing. So yeah, it's not even anything new, right? So I don't know. It's just, if there's an entrepreneur in South Africa and I'm in the United States, I need to be able to do business with that person easily. And if so, I will benefit, South Africa will benefit, and the world will benefit. No, apparently there's like one bank, is what I've been told. Only one bank in all of South Africa. Oh, right. And apparently the largest ISP in South Africa doesn't have their server configured properly. So they have problems with like Forex.Today. Right? So I had to like flare things to help our South African brothers and sisters. But like, so let's see, their largest ISP is screwed up, their largest banking system screwed up. You're like, oh my God. But other than that, life in South Africa is quite easy, right? So anyways. All right, well, I didn't realize it was so late. I didn't mean to take up all your extra time. It's going to be an interesting day. It always is. Remember, 10:30 we got oil inventories. So, I told you on Monday, well, I guess the video didn't get recorded, but I told you on Monday, and I'm pretty sure again yesterday, that you should be trading Canadian dollar today and Friday. Right? And guess what? Canadian dollar's on fire! This cat is on fire! This cat is on fire! Right? Yeah. Well, there you go. Told ya. So anyways, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. You have a wonderful day. I'll see you again tomorrow. Oh yeah, and the hurricanes and stuff. Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe that's what gets us above 50. A good old hurricane. Yeah, there's a very high chance that I'll be in the Caribbean soon, very soon. So yeah, I wouldn't mind the hurricane going through now. Yeah. Let's get it over with, right? Hurricane Wayne. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that's not my nickname, huh? So, anyways, take care of you guys. Take care of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. Trade safe, make some money, huh? But not at the expense of risk. Travis has got his water ready. Yeah, cheers.